Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Hot Slice Podcast. I'm Executive Editor Denise Greer, and I am joined by Editor-in-Chief Jeremy White. We are on Season 2, everyone. Jeremy, what do you think?
I'm excited. The first season went well. We had a lot of great guests, a lot of good conversations, a lot of great information for our listeners. And we're kicking off Season 2 with the gentlemen who own our Pizzeria of the Year. And we're going to have another great lineup for Season 2. A lot of great guests, a lot of informal back and forth between myself, you, Josh, and Katie as well. Josh Cowan, our creative director, and Katie Wilson, our art director, who also is our sound engineer. We're going to make some cameos. We're going to just shoot the breeze a little bit about the industry. Season 2 is going to be a lot of fun, Denise.
I'm super excited about Season 2. So what should we kick this off with? What do we need to talk about before we jump into talking to our Pizzeria of the Year guys?
Well, COVID-19 is still dominating the headlines, unfortunately. So that's really kind of dominating what we're doing right now.
Absolutely.
But we've got some really big news to announce, Denise. We, meaning Pizza Day Today magazine.
Oh, yes, I forgot.
We just found out we have won 10. That's right, double digits. It takes all of your fingers and thumbs to count. 10 Tabby Awards. The Tabbies are the most prestigious business-to-business trade publication awards in the entire world. They receive entries from magazines all across the globe. And we happened to win 10 awards this year than any other magazine in the entire world. So we are very excited to share that news.
Yeah, it's so mind blowing because we're in the daily just working on being the best that we can be for operators to make sure we're giving them solutions and opportunities to help their business. So to see that somebody recognizes the impact we're having, that's pretty mind blowing.
And that's just it, Denise. For me, it's not a trophy on the shelf saying that we won gold for best website, or we won, silver for this feature, gold for that layout, honorable mention for this design, whatever. That's great. But for me personally, it is validation that the work we do is making a meaningful and significant difference in the industry we serve, which is the pizza industry. And we know that because every year at Pizza Expo, Pizza Pasta Northeast, people come up to us, hugs, kisses, handshakes, obviously not now in time of COVID, but and they tell us face to face, and we get the emails and we get the text messages and we get the social media messages telling us, and it always makes us feel good. But when these awards come out and we see that we've won more than any other publication in the world, it definitely is gratifying, to say the least.
Yeah, it puts a little more pep in our step. We may, just like everyone else, we have our up days and our down days. And, we are working from home. I mean, a lot of people probably don't know that we are still working from home. So to have that nice recognition at this time, it kind of really helps the day.
Definitely made my week. And what else is going to make the week are talking to the Hunt brothers from Via 313, because they're just really cool guys.
Oh, I say this all the time about Brandon and Zane Hunt. They are the industry's best and brightest. And they'll never tell you that because they are the most modest dudes on the planet. But they just know what they're doing. They're firing on all cylinders with Via 313 in Austin with they've got 5 locations. It's 3 brick and mortar and 2 permanently placed trailers, which means, the trailers don't roam around the city. And they just, they've worked their little booties off to get to where they are. And I love their story.
They have a great story, which you covered remarkably well in the magazine when we announced that they are our Pizzeria of the Year. So for those listening at home, if you've not read the story yet, the article is in the physical print edition of the magazine that gets mailed to your pizzeria. If you're a subscriber, you can also find it online at pizzatoday.com. You really should read about these guys. They're in Austin, Texas, very hip city, college town, a town known for live music, a lot of bars during the time of COVID, they are impacted greatly with a lot, all the live music venues are closed or are open at a very small capacity. And that definitely has a significant impact on their pizza business. So that's one of the things I want to talk to them about, or I want one of us to ask them about that and hear what they have to say about how things are going right now with everything closed.
Absolutely. And, that 313 says it all. They're Detroit boys, and they brought that Detroit to Austin. So it'll be interesting to talk about the Detroit style. So, let's just jump right in and let's let the audience meet Zane and Brandon Hunt.
Yeah, let's bring them on.
Hey everyone, it's Katie, art director at Pizza Today, here to interrupt your podcast with a short commercial break. Performance Food Service is proud to deliver high-quality products, innovative technology, and custom operational solutions to restaurants of all sizes across the country. The flagship division of Performance Food Group, with deep roots in the restaurant industry, Performance Food Service has been the exclusive distributor of the Roma family of brands for more than 65 years. This signature relationship has allowed Performance Food Service to become a leader in the pizza and Italian segment of food service nationwide. And now, back to the slice.
All right, so on today's episode of The Hot Slice, we have Brandon and Zane Hunt. And I tell you what, these are two of the best guys in the business, and they just happen to be our Pizzeria of the Year this year with Via 313. Hey, Zane and Brandon, how's it going?
Hey, Denise. Thanks for having us on. It's going good.
And hello.
Hello, Brandon says. That's great. So let's just really quickly kind of give us an update. What's happening right now with Via 313?
Brandon, go ahead. Tell Denise what's going on.
I don't even know what we can talk about right now. What can we talk about?
All right. What is public knowledge with Via 313?
What was funny is, y'all's article ran, it's been about 2 weeks now. Mm-hmm. And it took about a week for the local news here to pick it up. And then ever since they picked it up, our sales are up, 10-15%.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is extremely helpful during a pandemic. If we're taking study cases, that works well. So thank you.
You're welcome. Well, what's it, the magazine article came out, people are, how's it been with the industry? Because you guys are kind of beloved around the industry. Have people been giving you guys shout outs?
Oh, tons. And, every salesperson is adding me on Facebook, trying to sell me something now. Thank you. But no, everybody's been super kind.
Oh, that's awesome. So where are you guys at? What is Austin like right now as far as your restriction? And I know you guys have taken a lot more precautions than just the standard, whatever the regulations are.
Yeah, we started probably about a week before the city made us go to a carry out before they closed the dining rooms. We've seen the numbers rising and things were, staff wasn't feeling super comfortable taking care of people in the restaurant. So we pivoted about a week before. I don't know the exact date, maybe March 14th or something like that. That feels right. And then here we are, August 24th, and we're still doing carry out only. We're fortunate that sales have stayed strong, so we haven't had to open the dining room. Again, I get why some people are opening their dining rooms. So they might have to, but our sales have been pretty steady. So we've been fortunate to just kind of hunker down and do this contactless carry out, and it seems to be working for everyone.
Yeah, and I know you took a big hit with your alcohol sales, right? Are you able to do carry out alcohol?
Yeah, we are, but it's like not even 1% of our sales. It's just there for convenience, but it's not even really something that we're paying attention to. It's not enough to really worry about.
Yeah. So what are you guys thinking about right now as you move forward? I mean, we're coming up to the last quarter of 2020. Maybe 2021 will be a better year, but what's on your minds right now as we move forward?
I'll let you take that. You're right.
Oh,
what's on your mind? My Peloton's on my mind right now.
Nice.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of business since March. It's business as usual for us. Since March, we've settled into, I know people like to say new normal, but that's really what it is. So I think there's so much uncertainty around COVID and what the coming months will look like when we can get dining rooms back open. I mean, that's constantly on our minds. It's a constant discussion that we've got is when can we get the dining rooms back open and get back to taking care of people face to face like we were pre-COVID. So that's on our minds. But I mean, not to sound pessimistic, but it just doesn't sound like that's going to be a thing that we see for quite some time. Same thing with bars being open, right? Which definitely affects our sales, especially at our 2 trailers, which are at bars that don't have food. So it affects us. It affects what we do greatly. That's on our minds. I mean, I don't know if we could talk about this, but I'll bring this up as a pivot away from Via 313. But we grew up in Southeast Michigan. Brandon and I did, obviously brothers growing up together, and there was a beloved restaurant that we grew up eating at called Frank's Pizzeria, Frank's Restaurant in Wyandotte, Michigan. They've been open since 1952. So I'm sure you guys, being in the pizza industry, you're aware of these mid-century Italian, first-generation Italian restaurants that served really good hand-tossed pizza, use really good ingredients. So we grew up eating at this place, and they're in their third generation owners right now. So 2 sisters own it, and they're about ready to retire. So Brandon and I have stepped in, and we are looking at purchasing their restaurant, and we don't want to rebrand it as a Via 313. It's nothing like that. We want to keep it going as Frank's Restaurant. So we've been spending a little bit of time working on that. Again, the goal is to just keep it going and keep feeding people the same great pizza that they've been feeding people for 68 years. So it's just an amazing opportunity. I don't know how much you want to talk about that, Brandon, but it's an amazing opportunity to keep a traditional, a place with a rich history and tradition alive.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. I don't think I've seen that where somebody has that's in the industry hasn't rebranded the really nostalgic place that they loved as a kid. Like that's pretty powerful stuff.
That's insane. So you guys are talking about managing and operating during a pandemic, a restaurant that's well over 1,000 miles away, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we're fortunate. That's true, and it sounds crazy, but Brandon and I have a business partner who can run operations here or there in Detroit, and that's our partner on the deal. And I think without that person, there's no way we could pull it off. There's just no way. Getting back and forth to Detroit right now is not easy. So, but yeah, it's really I mean, like it's just like a lot of things, right? If you would have told Brandon and I when we first opened our first trailer in 2011 that we'd be sitting here talking to you guys 9 years later about being Pizzeria of the Year or having 5 locations, I would have told you there's no way that's going to happen. That sounds like a crazy dream. Same thing with this Frank's Pizzeria discussion. I mean, this is a place that we grew up eating. It's kind of like a special place that we used to go to after prom or after a school dance or, somebody's birthday, you get together there and you have a big gathering of people and eat Italian food and pizza. And so to be in this position to be able to keep something that we love and cherish alive is really special.
Well, you certainly display a passion for it. Sounds like it will be a labor of love. So when you're that emotionally invested into it, I'm sure you're going to put your all into making sure it's successful. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much. Can't wait to share with you more details on that and maybe get some pictures of it and have you guys out, because I believe it's the kind of place that let's put it this way. If this place was in New York or if it was in LA or Chicago, like some big city, and it wasn't tucked away in Wyandotte, Michigan, you guys would have long known about this place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's 1952. So
wow.
I try to think of like a place that it reminds me of. It reminds me of a Star Tavern in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah. I mean, it's not, like I know you're not saying it, but it's not bar style per se, but
right.
It is just the memories I'm sure that people have of Star Tavern and being this neighborhood pizza place with a bar is just kind of the same memories. Yeah. I think that's a good that everybody would know.
That's
Right,
awesome.
right.
And if I remember correctly, Star Tavern was actually where you got your inspiration for your second style that you offer at your pizzeria, the bar style that you have going there, which was divine, by the way. That I had it about a year ago, a little over a year ago.
Well, thank you. That is absolutely true. You got a great memory.
For those that don't know, I love that story you told about going to Star Tavern and it just hit on all these things for you.
Yeah, it still does. I mean, Brandon, I cannot wait to get back to Star Tavern. We've only been there once, actually. But yeah, for those that aren't aware, I mean, Brandon and I stepped into that place. We were on a pizza tour in New York, and somebody, I don't know if it was Adam or somebody, was like, dude, you got to go to Star Tavern. So we were like, all right, we'll take the detour. So we went over to Star Tavern, and within 2 minutes of sitting down in that, within 2 minutes of walking in that place, I mean, we're in love with everything we see, the kind of gruff personalities, the gruff service, like if you're not a local, they're going to give you a hard time. And then, of course, the pizza is just fantastic. One of the best pizzas I've ever had. So.
Oh, yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Katie, art director at Pizza Today, here to interrupt your podcast with a short commercial break. Your friends at Message on Hold are happy to introduce our voice-over IP service. Message on Hold Phones is our solution for phone service. If the internet goes down, it's no problem. You can still take online and phone orders. No busy signal ever. Professionally recorded, customized messaging for your business ensures that your customer gets the message that you want delivered to them every time. Save money and get new phones. Visit www.messageonholdservice.com/phones. If you're looking for a POS provider that truly understands pizzerias, look no further than PDQ. Designed from the ground up for the exact needs of pizzerias, PDQ POS has been doing pizza ordering, delivery, and takeout for over 32 years. With all the functionality you need in today's environment, including online ordering, rewards, seamless integration, contactless functionality, and so much more, PDQ is your single source for, everything. Learn more today at pdqpos.com or call 877-968-6430. That's 877-968-6430. And now, back to the slice.
Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your pizza. Let's talk about Detroit. Now, I know that when we had some initial conversations, it's not Detroit. It's just pizza, right?
That's true. Nobody here calls it Detroit. Well, they are now, right, Brandon? I mean,
yeah, now everybody wants to get in on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's probably in there trying to taste your pizza. Like, okay, how did they do this? How long do we think that the fermentation and what's their cheese mix ratio?
Yeah. It's funny. It's the same thing that we were trying to figure out 10 or 12 years ago when we were making the pizza at home, trying to find the right mix to, touch on certain things that strike a chord with our taste buds that remind us of growing up in Detroit. But now we got people behind us doing the same thing. And Brandon and I were just talking about this the other day about how there's just a whole other generation of Detroit style pizza makers out there that have taken what we do. Cause we're kind of like probably a little old fashioned with how we do things in terms of the pizza. And we're not chefy about it necessarily. I mean, we do some things that are a little elevated, but we're not chefy. And I think there's a whole generation of Detroit style pizza makers behind us that are elevating it even further. So it's been interesting to sit back and visit places or look on Instagram and see the pictures of what people are doing. It's actually really inspiring. So
it is inspiring. It's wild how it's taking off. And I'm glad you mentioned kind of that new wave generation that's coming in right now. I was curious if anyone has reached out to you to ask you about the process, whether it's as simple as how long do I par bake, or do I par bake, or questions like that. Do you find people from around the country calling you guys because you're having success with this style that is now so popular, trying to pick your brains a little bit about how to pull it off in their locale?
Well, Brandon, help me with this because I have a bad memory when it comes to people, but a lot of people. But I know there was a couple folks that had popped into Austin that spent a little bit of time with us. One dude went back to was he from Korea?
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, Motor City
nice.
In Korea.
Right. That was going back 7 years ago. And then there's been a bunch of a handful of other people that have come through that sometimes they'll send, sometimes we'll get emails to the account and I'll answer them without giving away the farm, but I'll try to go like, look, people helped us, right? I mean,
Right.
we didn't get a recipe from somebody. We figured out what we wanted to do, but people did help us. And so it's just like, we try to be aware that it would be good to pay it forward. And so we try to help people when they ask for help. But there's been a few people that have opened up places in the last couple of years that have reached out to us and told us, hey, you were the main inspiration for us doing this. So thank you for taking the time to, answer questions. We get enough inquiries where I'm like, oh, I totally forgot that we talked to those people. It's crazy. But yeah. And then at the Pizza Expo, we run into people that say that we inspired them. So, I mean, it's pretty flattering, honestly. I never get tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
It's definitely gratifying.
And I would say that between you, Tony G, Jeff Smokovich in Colorado, and Sean Randazzo,
Yeah.
I mean, y'all were the ones that kind of pushed this style, this unique, everyday kind of style in your hometown, outside of it. I know you guys probably don't want to take credit for that, but you were one of the early adapters to bring it outside.
Go ahead, Brand. I'll let you answer that. I know
They're so modest. I love that.
What's funny is here, if you can stall, no, I won't be able to find it. I'm looking at my laptop. We have emails from I want to say it was 2009, maybe dipping into 2010 when we had a pizza blog called, I don't even want to tell you what it's called because you can probably find it somewhere, but we had a pizza blog and we were honestly just asking people questions about their business, not trying to steal ideas, but what are they passionate about? Trying to add a human element to pizza. Anyways, one of the questions we did with Sean Randazzo back in 2010 was he said he wanted to put Detroit style pizza on the map and he was going to be the guy to do it. And boy, he really has done it. He's kind of the leader of the pack when it comes to pans and flour and gluten-free flour. I mean, he said it 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and he's doing it for sure.
Yeah, he really has. He came out and competed in the International Pizza Challenge at Pizza Expo in Las Vegas, and he blew everyone away. It was a style that outside of Detroit hadn't garnered much attention. People weren't really familiar with of, let's say, Southern Michigan, and suddenly it became red hot, and people all across the country wanted to do it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's really nailed it. And we used to kind of kid that we were the first to call it Detroit style pizza, but unfortunately we have proof that he called it first before we did.
Well, at least in this day of fake news, you can just say that's fake news and that you were clearly the first, and someone will believe you for sure.
Maybe the first outside of Detroit to call it Detroit style pizza. Maybe we can take that claim.
I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So when you brought this style to Texas, what kind of learning curve or educational component did you have to put the customer base on? Were they only familiar with one style of pizza? Or I'm not really sure what the pizza scene was like in Austin when you first opened, but I'm sure most of your customers probably had not experienced a Detroit style.
I'll tell you this. We were really concerned that there would be not only a learning curve, but that with the warmer climate, that they might not be as fast to adapt to a thicker or cheesier pizza.
Mm-hmm.
We were concerned that we always felt like if we could just get our pizza in somebody's hand and in their mouth, that they'll love it.
Sure.
But it would be challenging to even get to that point. So we had talked early on about bringing in another style. So we never talked about opening a trailer or two pizza trailers. It was going to be a restaurant right from day one, a sit down, old school style pizzeria restaurant. And we were like, well, maybe we should need to have two different styles. So at the time in 2009 and 2010, we were like, we'll do Detroit style pizza and Neapolitan. That's what we thought we were going to do. And that's one of the reasons we met Tony Gimignani, was that we were going after the Neapolitan thing. And we knew he had success competing with it. So we went and spent time with Tony, and we were like, okay, we could do Neapolitan and Detroit style pizza for sure. We'll do maybe not his recipe, but basically he influenced us on the Neapolitan side, and we'll do our Detroit style pizza together. And this was like in 2010. But then we didn't open a restaurant. We opened a pizza trailer, and we're not going to do two styles out of a pizza trailer. So we just scaled it back and went to Detroit style only. And, honestly, the early days, we would bake pizzas and we would stand outside we'd cut it up into like 16ths, I think, probably little bite-sized pieces, and we'd be like that annoying guy at the mall trying to give you food in the food court. That was us. We're out on the street trying to give people samples because we thought we could turn them on to it. So I would say, I know I'm a long-winded answer here, but I think part of it is just getting your food in somebody's mouth. I think calling it Detroit style pizza helped us immensely because that created a curiosity. If we were just have been like via 313 pizza, I don't know. People would have tried us, but it wouldn't have taken off so fast, probably. People were intrigued. We also happened to have a trailer in a part of town where there was a lot of energy around trying new things. It's a younger demographic. That helped us. And then there's the education at the window. Every time you hand a pizza to somebody, tell them your story. Not your personal story, but the story of the pizza and why we do things the way we do it in the pans, the way that pizza's built. And that education continues to this day. Our servers now have to preach that gospel, so to speak. I mean, so it never stops. And it will never stop. There's going to be constant education going on.
Yeah, and the thing I think about Detroit style is it's kind of a deceiving product. When you look at it, it looks like a brick, but it's so light and it's just so feather, and you just it's so airy, and a lot of people don't seem to think that when they look at it, because it looks like it's going to be a heavy pizza that's going to sit heavy, and it doesn't at all. So, I mean, just overcoming that battle of it looking thicker, but it's really not.
Yeah. I mean, if we had a nickel for every time someone told us that, I don't like deep dish pizza, but I like via 313. Like, we get that a lot.